Maybe you've accepted this as just part of getting older. What if I told you this isn't normal aging, but your body warning you about something serious? Hello, I am Dr. Peter, a retired doctor with 30 years of experience helping patients just like you. Today, I'm going to solve your nighttime urination problem by revealing 8 powerful strategies. These aren't just quick fixes, but address the root causes that doctors often miss. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete action plan to reclaim your sleep and protect your health. Let's start with something that might shock you. Before we begin, if you want more practical health tips for seniors, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Share your experiences in the comments because it will help other viewers over 60. The first thing you need to understand is that what you've been told about nighttime urination is completely wrong. Most people think getting up 3 or 4 times a night is just part of aging. You've probably been told by friends or even doctors that it's normal. I hear this constantly from my patients. They come into my office saying things like, "Well, doctor, I'm 65 now, so I guess this is just what happens." Some have even been dismissed by other healthcare providers who simply shrug and say, "Welcome to getting older." But here's what those people don't realize. Nocturia isn't just inconvenient. It's silently destroying your health in ways you never imagined. Every single nighttime wake-up increases your fall risk by 30%. Think about that for a moment. You're stumbling around in the dark, half asleep, your balance isn't what it used to be, and your risk of a serious injury skyrockets every time you make that trip to the bathroom. The dangers go far beyond just falling. Constant sleep disruption leads to cognitive decline. Your brain needs deep, uninterrupted sleep to clear out toxins and form memories. When you're waking up multiple times each night, you're robbing your brain of this crucial repair time. I've seen patients develop memory problems that their families attributed to dementia, when it was actually sleep fragmentation from nocturia. Then there's muscle loss. Poor sleep disrupts the hormones that help maintain muscle mass. You might notice you're getting weaker, having trouble 2 years. Her daughter kept suggesting she see a doctor, but Margaret brushed it off. "I'm just getting old," she would say. "This is what happens." One night, at 2 a.m., Margaret was making her usual trip to the bathroom. She was tired, disoriented, and trying to move quickly because the urge was urgent. She caught her foot on the edge of a throw rug and went down hard, breaking her hip in the fall. While Margaret was in the hospital, recovering from hip surgery, I ran some tests to figure out why she was urinating so frequently. That's when we discovered she had early-stage heart failure. Her frequent nighttime urination wasn't aging at all. It was her body's way of trying to deal with fluid retention from her failing heart. Margaret's story had a happy ending because we caught the heart problem early. With proper treatment, both her heart condition and her nocturia improved dramatically. But it took a broken hip for her to take the warning signs seriously. Here's what I need you to do right now. Stop dismissing nighttime urination as just aging. This mindset is dangerous and prevents you from getting the help you need. Tonight, start counting how many times you wake up to urinate. Write it down for 3 consecutive nights. Be honest about the numbers. If you're waking up more than once per night on a regular basis, your body is sending you a message. Don't ignore it the way Margaret did. The earlier you address nocturia, the easier it is to fix, and the more health problems you can prevent. The second critical factor most people don't know about is what I call the hormone hijack that's happening in your body every single night. You drink the same amount of water during the day that you always have, but suddenly, you're producing twice as much urine at night. It feels like your kidneys have developed a mind of their own after dark. You might find yourself thinking, "I barely drank anything today, so why am I up every 2 hours?" This frustrating experience happens to millions of people over 60, and most have no idea what's really causing it. The culprit is a hormone called antidiuretic hormone, or ADH. This hormone's job is to tell your kidneys to hold on to water. They drink fluids at the worst possible times. They don't give their kidneys enough processing time, and they create hormone chaos without realizing it. Your kidneys are incredibly smart organs, but they need time to respond to hormone signals. When ADH levels start to rise in the evening, your kidneys need several hours to adjust their filtering process. If you're drinking fluids late in the day, you're essentially asking your kidneys to do two opposite things at the same time. I remember treating James, a 68-year-old retired teacher who was getting up 5 times every night. He came to me exhausted and desperate. "Doctor," he said, "I'm afraid to drink water after noon because I know I'll pay for it all night." James had tried restricting fluids drastically, but that just made him dehydrated and didn't solve the problem. When we looked at his hormone patterns and fluid intake timing, the issue became clear. James was drinking most of his daily fluids between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. while watching television. His poor kidneys were getting mixed signals. The ADH was trying to conserve water for the night, but the kidneys were still processing all that evening fluid intake. Once we optimized James's hormone rhythm with proper timing strategies, he went from 5 bathroom trips to just 1 per night within 2 weeks. He told me it was like getting his life back. "I didn't realize how much that constant tiredness was affecting everything I did during the day," he said. "Now I wake up actually feeling rested." The key insight here is that your hormones are still working, just not as strongly as they used to. Instead of fighting this natural change, you need to support it. Think of it like working with a dimmer switch instead of a regular light switch. The hormone is still there, but you need to be more strategic about how you use it. Here's your action step for understanding your personal hormone patterns. For 1 full week, track when you drink fluids and when you urinate. Write down the time and approximate amount for both. Don't change your habits yet, just observe and record. Look for the pattern between your evening fluid intake and your nighttime bathroom frequency. You'll start to see the direct connection between what you drink after 6 p.m. and how many times you wake up. This simple tracking will show you exactly how your antidiuretic hormone is working. Sleep. Most people approach this problem the wrong way. They either drink normally and suffer through the night wakings, or they severely restrict fluids and end up dehydrated. Neither approach works because both ignore the basic science of how your kidneys process liquids. Here's the hidden benefit that can reduce your nighttime urination by up to 60%. The 4-hour rule works with your body's natural rhythms instead of against them. Your kidneys need 3 to 4 hours to completely process the fluids you consume. This isn't just about the liquid leaving your stomach or being absorbed into your bloodstream. Your kidneys have to filter it, your hormones need to respond, and your bladder has to fill and signal your brain. When you understand this timing, everything changes. You're not restricting fluids randomly or hoping for the best. You're giving your kidneys exactly what they need to do their job efficiently before you sleep. This works with your natural hormone cycles, particularly that antidiuretic hormone we talked about earlier. The science behind this is straightforward but powerful. When you stop fluid intake 4 hours before bed, you give your kidneys time to process everything while you're still awake and upright. Gravity helps the process move efficiently. Your antidiuretic hormone can then do its job properly during sleep hours, instead of competing with active kidney processing. Let me tell you about Susan, a 64-year-old retired nurse who understood the importance of hydration but was frustrated by constant night wakings. She had developed a lovely evening routine of drinking chamomile tea while watching her favorite shows from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., then going to bed around 10:30 p.m. Susan was up 4 times every night like clockwork. When Susan first heard about the 4-hour rule, she was skeptical. "But I get thirsty in the evening," she told me, "and that tea is part of my relaxation routine." I explained that she didn't have to give up her routine entirely, just shift the timing. Susan moved her tea time to 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. She kept everything else the same: the comfortable chair, the same shows, the same relaxing ritual. The only change was timing her last cup for 6:30 p.m., when her bedtime was 10:30 p.m. The results were dramatic. Within 1 week, Susan went from 4 nighttime bedtime, and mark that as your fluid cutoff time. Set an alarm on your phone if you need to remember initially. After your cutoff time, if you get genuinely thirsty, you can take small sips of water or suck on ice chips, but avoid large quantities. Make sure you compensate by hydrating more during the morning and early afternoon. Your total daily fluid intake shouldn't decrease, just the timing of when you consume it. This strategy works because you're working with your body's natural processing rhythms instead of fighting against them. The fourth powerful strategy involves evening movement, and this might be the most overlooked solution to nighttime urination that exists. You spend your evening sitting in your favorite chair, watching television, reading, or relaxing after a long day. This seems perfectly normal and healthy, but something problematic is happening to your body during these quiet hours. Fluid is pooling in your legs all day long due to gravity, and it sits there until you lie down for bed. The moment you become horizontal, all that accumulated fluid rushes back into your bloodstream and heads straight to your kidneys. Think about what your legs go through during a typical day. Even if you're fairly active, you spend hours in upright positions where gravity pulls fluid downward. Your leg muscles and tissues act like sponges, slowly collecting extra fluid throughout the day. This is completely normal when you're younger, because your circulation is stronger and your kidneys process everything efficiently. But as we age, this fluid redistribution becomes a serious problem. When you finally lie down at night, your body suddenly has to deal with what amounts to an extra 1 to 2 cups of fluid that was trapped in your legs. Your kidneys kick into overdrive to process this flood, and that's why you find yourself waking up 2 hours after falling asleep with an urgent need to urinate. Here's the hidden benefit that can change your nights completely. Light evening exercise redistributes this trapped fluid while you're still awake and upright. Instead of letting it all rush to your kidneys at bedtime, you help your body process it gradually during the evening hours. This simple change also improves your sleep quality, making your brain less sensitive to normal bladder signals during the night. Even 15 minutes of gentle movement can reduce nighttime urination by 35%. You don't need intense workouts or complicated routines. Excess fluid moves back into your bloodstream gradually, instead of all at once when you lie down. Let me share Robert's story. He was a 67-year-old retired accountant who lived a fairly sedentary lifestyle. Robert would come home from running errands, eat dinner, and settle into his recliner for the evening. He was up 3 times every night and felt exhausted during the day. "I don't understand it," he told me. "I'm tired enough to sleep, but my bladder won't let me." When I explained the fluid redistribution problem, Robert was skeptical that something so simple could make a difference. But he agreed to try adding movement to his evening routine. He started taking a 20-minute walk around his neighborhood after dinner, timing it for about 7 p.m., when he usually went to bed around 10 p.m. Robert also added simple leg exercises while watching his evening news. He would do calf raises during commercials, point and flex his feet, and lift his legs up and down from his chair. Nothing strenuous, just enough to activate his leg muscles and encourage fluid movement. The results surprised him. Within 2 weeks, Robert went from 3 nighttime bathroom trips to just 1. "I actually look forward to my evening walk now," he said. "I sleep better, I feel more energetic during the day, and I'm not stumbling around in the dark anymore." The beauty of this strategy is that it's completely adaptable to your current fitness level and mobility. If walking isn't possible, you can do seated exercises, leg elevation, or even gentle stretching. The goal isn't intense exercise, but rather helping your body redistribute fluid before bedtime. Here's your action step, starting today. Choose one light activity to do 2 to 3 hours before your bedtime. This could be a short walk, gentle stretching, or simple leg exercises while watching television. Make it something you can enjoy rather than a chore, perhaps listening to music or podcasts while you move. The fifth essential technique is proper bladder emptying, and this simple method can give you hours of extra sleep every single night. You use the bathroom right before bed, thinking you've completely emptied your bladder and done everything possible to minimize nighttime wakings. You feel like you've finished urinating, your bladder seems empty, and you head to bed, confident that you've bought yourself maximum sleep time. Then, people have no idea they're leaving urine behind, because the sensation of needing to urinate goes away, even when the bladder isn't fully empty. Your brain gets the signal that you've urinated, assumes the job is done, and stops paying attention. Meanwhile, you might have 50 to 100 milliliters of urine still sitting in your bladder, which is enough to trigger another bathroom trip in just a couple of hours. Here's the hidden benefit that can extend your sleep periods by 1 to 2 hours per night. Double voiding ensures complete bladder emptying by giving your bladder a second chance to release any remaining urine. This technique can add significant time between bathroom visits, and it's especially powerful for men dealing with prostate changes that interfere with normal urination flow. The process works because your bladder muscles need a moment to reset after the initial urination. During that brief waiting period, any urine that was trapped behind tissue folds or blocked by anatomical changes has a chance to move into position for elimination. When you attempt to urinate the second time, you're often surprised by how much additional urine comes out. This isn't about forcing or straining, which can actually make bladder problems worse. It's about being patient and giving your body's natural processes time to work completely. Think of it like making sure you get every bit of toothpaste out of the tube. You squeeze once, then reposition, and squeeze again to get what was left behind. Let me tell you about Frank, a 71-year-old retired mechanic who was convinced his prostate was the source of all his nighttime problems. Frank was getting up every 2 hours like clockwork and felt exhausted all the time. "I go to the bathroom before bed," he told me, "but it's like my bladder refills instantly." When I taught Frank the double voiding technique, he was skeptical. "I already try to make sure I'm empty," he said. But Frank agreed to try the method consistently for 1 week. The first night, he was amazed at how much additional urine came out during the second attempt. Within just 3 days, Frank was getting 3-hour stretches of uninterrupted sleep instead of 2-hour periods. By the end of the week, he was down to just 1 nighttime bathroom trip instead of 3 or 4. It's the simplest thing I've ever learned, but it's made the biggest difference. Find your position slightly if needed, and try to urinate again. Don't strain or force anything during the second attempt. Simply give your bladder the opportunity to release anything that might be left behind. You might be surprised by how much comes out, or some nights there might be very little. Both results are normal and beneficial. The sixth factor is understanding your sleep quality, and this connection might completely change how you think about your nighttime urination problem. You feel like you have a weak bladder that wakes you up constantly throughout the night. Every time you wake up, there's an urgent need to urinate, so naturally, you blame your bladder for the sleep disruption. You might even avoid drinking water during the day because you're convinced your bladder is the enemy. But what if I told you that your bladder isn't the real culprit? What if the problem is actually your sleep quality, and your bladder is just an innocent bystander? This is one of the most misunderstood aspects of nocturia that I encountered repeatedly during my 30 years of practice. Patients would come to me convinced they had bladder disease, when the real issue was that they weren't getting deep, restorative sleep. When your sleep is shallow or fragmented, your brain becomes hypersensitive to normal body signals that it would normally ignore during deep sleep phases. Think about how this works when you're awake during the day. Your bladder gradually fills, but you don't feel an urgent need to urinate every time there's a small amount of urine present. Your brain filters out these minor signals because you're busy with other activities. The same filtering should happen during sleep, but only if you're sleeping deeply enough for your brain to properly prioritize signals. Here's the hidden benefit that can reduce false bladder alarms by 50%. Shallow sleep makes your brain hypersensitive to normal bladder signals that wouldn't wake you up if you were sleeping properly. When you improve sleep depth, your brain stops treating every minor bladder sensation as an emergency that requires immediate attention. Better sleep also optimizes hormone production naturally, including that antidiuretic hormone we discussed earlier. The connection goes even deeper than just brain sensitivity. Poor sleep disrupts the normal rhythm of hormone production that controls urine concentration and volume. When you're not sleeping well, your body produces urine. Share Maria's story, which perfectly illustrates this connection. Maria was a 66-year-old retired teacher who came to me convinced she had a serious bladder problem. She was waking up 4 times every night with what felt like urgent needs to urinate. During the day, she could go 3 or 4 hours between bathroom visits without any problem, but at night, she couldn't make it more than 2 hours. Maria's husband mentioned that she snored loudly and sometimes seemed to stop breathing during sleep. When we did a sleep study, we discovered that Maria had moderate sleep apnea. Her breathing was stopping briefly dozens of times each night, causing micro-awakenings that she wasn't even aware of. During these brief moments of lighter sleep, her brain would notice normal bladder sensations and interpret them as urgent signals. We treated Maria's sleep apnea with a CPAP machine, and the results were remarkable. Within 2 weeks, her nighttime bathroom trips went from 4 times to just once per night. I realized my bladder was perfectly fine, Maria told me. The problem was that I was never really sleeping deeply enough to ignore normal body signals. Maria's case taught her an important lesson about listening to her body holistically, rather than focusing on just one symptom. Her sleep disorder was affecting multiple aspects of her health, not just the nighttime urination that brought her to my office. Here's your action step for evaluating your sleep environment and quality. Tonight, assess whether your bedroom is optimally set up for deep sleep. Make sure your room is dark, cool, and quiet. Consider whether snoring, breathing issues, or frequent position changes might be disrupting your sleep cycles. For the next week, track both your sleep quality and bathroom frequency to identify connections. Note how rested you feel in the morning and whether there's a correlation between poor sleep nights and increased nocturia. This information will help you determine whether sleep improvement should be your primary focus. The 7th crucial element is nighttime safety, and this aspect of managing nocturia could literally save your life. You stumble through dark hallways when nature calls in the middle of the night, navigating by memory and hoping you don't trip over anything. Your main focus during these urgent moments is speed, not safety. You want to get to the bathroom as quickly as possible and get back. Serious accident. The statistics around nighttime falls are sobering. Over 300,000 seniors are hospitalized each year for hip fractures, and a significant percentage of these happen during nighttime bathroom trips. What makes these falls particularly devastating is that they often result in serious injuries because people are moving faster than they should and can't catch themselves properly in the dark. But here's the hidden benefit that most people never consider. A safe bathroom path doesn't just prevent falls, it actually reduces anxiety that can worsen nocturia. When you feel confident and secure during nighttime bathroom trips, you're less likely to develop the kind of sleep anxiety that makes nocturia worse. Feeling safe actually helps you sleep more deeply between bathroom visits because your subconscious isn't worried about potential dangers. The connection between anxiety and nocturia is stronger than most people realize. When you're worried about falling or hurting yourself during nighttime trips, your brain stays in a more alert state, even during sleep. This heightened alertness makes you more sensitive to bladder signals and more likely to wake up for bathroom trips that could wait until morning. Motion-activated nightlights are game-changing devices that provide just enough illumination to navigate safely without fully waking you up. These lights turn on automatically when they detect movement, so you don't have to fumble for switches or strain your eyes in the dark. They provide a gentle, warm light that's bright enough for safety, but not so harsh that it disrupts your sleep cycle. Let me tell you about Helen, a 69-year-old widow who had a terrifying close call that changed her entire approach to nighttime safety. Helen had been getting up twice each night for about a year, and she prided herself on being able to navigate to her bathroom without any lights. She knew every step of the path and felt confident in her ability to move safely in the dark. One night, Helen's cat had left a toy mouse in the hallway, something that had never happened before. Helen stepped on it in the dark, lost her balance, and barely caught herself by grabbing the wall. She didn't fall, but the near miss shook her badly. "I realized I was one small obstacle away from a broken bone," she told me. After Helen's scare, we worked together to create a comprehensive safety plan for her nighttime bathroom trips. We installed motion-activated lights along interconnected. When you remove the subconscious worry about nighttime navigation, your brain can focus on the restorative sleep processes that naturally reduce nocturia. Here's your action step for tonight. Install motion-activated nightlights along your bathroom path before you go to bed. These inexpensive devices are available at any hardware store and can be placed in outlets or mounted on walls. Walk through your path during the day and remove any rugs, cords, or obstacles between your bed and bathroom. If mobility is challenging for you, consider keeping a bedside urinal for emergencies when getting to the bathroom feels risky. The eighth and final strategy is knowing when to get professional help, and this knowledge could be the difference between managing a simple problem and missing a serious health condition. You've tried everything you can think of but still wake up multiple times every night to urinate. Maybe you've implemented some lifestyle changes and seen modest improvement, but you're still not getting the restful sleep you need. You're wondering if there's something more serious going on that requires medical attention, but you're not sure when persistence becomes dangerous delay. This is one of the most important decisions you'll make regarding your nocturia. Many people wait far too long to seek medical help because they're embarrassed, think it's just part of aging, or believe they should be able to solve it themselves. On the other hand, some people rush to doctors before trying basic lifestyle modifications that might solve the problem naturally. Here's the hidden benefit of early medical intervention that could save your life. Persistent nocturia can be an early warning sign of serious conditions like diabetes, heart failure, kidney disease, or sleep disorders. When caught early, these conditions are much more manageable and treatable. Prescription options exist for nocturia itself, but they work best when combined with the lifestyle changes we've discussed, not as standalone solutions. The key is understanding what constitutes a reasonable trial period for self-management. If you consistently apply proper fluid timing, evening exercise, double voiding, sleep optimization, and safety measures for 3 weeks without significant improvement, it's time to involve a healthcare provider. This isn't giving up or admitting failure. It's being smart about your health and recognizing when you need additional tools. Medical evaluation can identify specific causes that lifestyle changes alone. Worker who had been waking up 4 times nightly for about 6 months. He tried limiting evening fluids and even started taking evening walks, but saw only minimal improvement. David was frustrated and starting to accept that this was his new reality. David's wife finally convinced him to see his doctor, mainly because she was concerned about how tired he looked all the time. During the appointment, his doctor asked about other symptoms David had been ignoring. Yes, he was more thirsty than usual during the day. Yes, he had been losing weight without trying. Yes, he sometimes felt dizzy when standing up quickly. Blood tests revealed that David had developed type 2 diabetes. His frequent nighttime urination wasn't just a bladder issue. It was his body's way of trying to eliminate excess glucose through his urine. Once David started proper diabetes management with medication and dietary changes, His nocturia resolved almost completely within a month. David's case illustrates something crucial that I witnessed many times during my career. What seemed like a simple urination problem was actually a life-saving early warning of a serious condition. If David had continued trying to manage the symptom without addressing the underlying cause, his diabetes could have progressed to dangerous complications. The medical options available for nocturia have improved significantly in recent years. Doctors can prescribe medications that boost anti-diuretic hormone function, treatments for overactive bladder, or therapies targeting specific underlying conditions. However, these medications work best when patients are also following good lifestyle practices. Here's your action step if lifestyle changes haven't provided sufficient relief after 3 weeks of consistent effort. Schedule an appointment with your primary care doctor and bring a detailed voiding diary showing your fluid intake, urination times, and any patterns you've noticed. Include information about what lifestyle changes you've tried and how your body responded. Be prepared to discuss other symptoms that might seem unrelated, like changes in thirst, appetite, energy levels, or sleep quality. These seemingly minor details often provide crucial clues about underlying conditions that could be causing your nocturia. Now let me give you a complete recap of all 8 strategies we've covered. First, recognize nocturia as a health warning, not normal aging, and start tracking your patterns to understand between nighttime trips. Sixth, improve sleep quality to reduce brain sensitivity to normal bladder signals during rest periods. Seventh, create a safe, well-lit bathroom path to prevent falls and reduce anxiety that can worsen sleep quality. Eighth, seek medical help if problems persist despite consistent lifestyle modifications, as this could indicate treatable, underlying conditions. Start with just one strategy tonight, and I recommend beginning with the fluid timing because it often provides the quickest results. Your sleep is worth fighting for, and don't accept that frequent nighttime urination is simply part of aging. Which of these 8 strategies surprised you most? Let me know in the comments below, and share your experiences to help other viewers over 60 who are dealing with this frustrating problem.